Is Ivanka Trump running for president in 2024? So, after her RNC speech last week, where she introduced her father, the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, speculation about her potential future run started increasing. Mind you, I have actually predicted this, I think 4 months ago at this point, on my Parler account. If you want to follow me there, you can. But I actually echoed it, which is like the equivalent of a retweet or a share, and commented that I still stand by this after Ivanka had spoken at the RNC. And come to find out, it's actually one of the sources of a potential alleged reported feud between Melania Trump, who is married to President Trump, so Ivanka's stepmother, and between her and Ivanka, because from what the reports of a new book that is coming out, authored by Melania's ex-best friend, is that Ivanka is using her time at the White House to prepare herself or catapult herself to a future run as president. I'm thinking as soon as even 2024. And I'm going to give a few reasons why I think this is actually possible. So one of the reasons I think she would be, one, a good fit for the presidency, and one reason I think she would be a potential nominee is, well, first of all, in the current administration, so she's getting her resume built up in government as someone who was not in government before this, and she is really not really in the forefront as far as the media goes, but she is in the forefront of a lot of big initiatives by the administration, and the main one being the apprenticeship program and the skilled workers program that has been, from what the people have been reporting, wildly successful, which is probably why we're not hearing it in the media, because they tend to stray away from good news stories regarding the Trump administration, the current one. And so she has been spearheading that entire initiative and has been doing it around the world, really. So I think that is a really, really strong resume builder for her future run for political office, whether that be president or anything else. That is a huge thing to be to have under your belt. And she also has been very influential in implementing the I don't want to call it a welfare program, but the program that they've done during the pandemic, where a lot of the food that was being harvested at farms, they were able to repurpose it instead of wasting it, because the supply chains were all broken at that point. They were able to give it to local families that were in need of food during kind of all the upheaval and even to this day. And I think that it's actually been expanded and even poured more funding into it because it was so successful. Also, just as far as traits, as one, her proximity to power is basically the biggest anywhere in the world, because she's the daughter of the president. But she seems to be the favorite in the family. I know Don Jr. is the oldest son, but he, to me, is too much like his father, and in some cases is even more inflammatory than his father. And so I think Ivanka, being in the administration, not being in the business side of the Trump organization, if you will, outside of government, I think it is a really good sign that they are kind of prepping her and training her to kind of take his place, or at least run in the future. And the traits about her are so different than her father. She is a complete, in my opinion, 180 from him. She is well-spoken. She is well put together. Her demeanor is very presidential in my eyes, which is what kind of ticked me off to thinking she would actually run. Very calm, collected. She has a really good speaking voice, and as far as like speech going, it reminds me of, I know a lot of people are probably going to think I'm crazy, but a Michelle Obama-esque speech giver. I mean, she clearly, Ivanka's not as good as Michelle Obama, I'll give her that, but I'll give Michelle Obama that, but she has what it takes, from what I see, and the thing that I think will send people over the edge, and why I think it's a smart idea to pick her or to have her run, is because if you think the current meltdown by the media over Donald Trump is crazy and lopsided and like hysteria wise, what do you think it's going to look like when the first female president is a Trump Republican, maybe, that I'll touch on that in a few seconds, who is the opposite in demeanor of President Trump, which is a lot of what a lot of his critics actually peg him for is his demeanor and the way he says things and his looks. Ivanka doesn't really have any of those things. You can't really knock her on her looks. You can't knock her on her intelligence. You can't knock her for her speech. You can't knock her for her demeanor or the way she goes about things. I mean, it would be the Trump administration, the Trump figurehead, without all the things that the media likes to pan them for. So it would be crazy. I mean, we could get into some nefarious things that regarding her businesses outside of the Trump administration before President Trump was inaugurated and elected. But my theory on her, as far as what she would run as far as Democrat, Republican, Independent, is I actually think she might run as an independent. And she might actually be one of the first to run a successful third party presidency, because before 2016, from what I understand, the clips I've seen of interviews from the past, is that she was an independent, a registered independent, up until the New York primary in 2016 to vote for her father. Now, there was a little bit of controversy around that whole thing because apparently she didn't register or switch her party affiliation in time for the New York primary, which was a big deal. Like, how could you not do that? Blah, 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 blah. But they chalked it up to just an oversight and just a misunderstanding, and it was what it was. So she's not really a Republican. She just became a Republican so her dad could get the nomination and she could work in the administration and kind of support the party that is now supporting her father. And then, of course, I was thinking of all these things before the rumors about her feud with Melania stemming from Ivanka wanting to be president in the future. So all these things point towards Ivanka running for president as soon as 2024, in my opinion. And I don't know who I would think she would want to be, or her vice president to be. Maybe another woman. I don't know. But it'd be very interesting to see if that would happen. So let me know what you think. Would Ivanka Trump, 1, do you think she would even run? 2, would you support her if she ran? And 3, if not her, who? How about that? We'll end up there. So let me know what you think, and I'll talk to you in the next one.